One man, one microphone, one message. Today's top 5 in 5 on Fridays. Today we're talking about how to get booked as a speaker. Now, how to do this without burning out and going crazy and call it going broke. Because what I found, there are a lot of people want to get on stages. How do you get on a stage, Anthony? Let me tell you, I'm going to feed you, baby bird. There's a lot of ways to do it. I started out as a regular guy doing like the free speeches out at parks, schools, like little elementary schools. I built. Now I get to go in places in like T-Mobile and talk to thousands of people at one time. But I'm going to tell you the 5 things you should do to get yourself in this position. First thing you got to do is be so good, no one can ignore you. People miss this piece. You think that it boils down to like, I got a cool story. It doesn't. There's so much behind the ability to speak. Like, can I talk in fluid thought like this without saying ums, and like, can you talk in fluid speech? Can you inflect the tone of your voice and make it so high and so low and speed up? And are you skilled, right? When I played football, people always used to ask me, man, hey, how do I get to the next level? How do I get to college? How do I get to the pros like you did? And I guess, seriously, I was like, well, I guess you just get so good that they can't keep you off the field, right? It's not a politics behind it. There are some politics behind it, but that's way, way high. But if you want to get your kid into college, make them good. So you want to get on a stage, get so good you can't be ignored, right? It's a big, big piece. Number 2, differentiate yourself. Have a different story. There are a lot of people telling the same exact message, right? But at the end of the day, what differentiates you? What part of your story is unique? What part of your experience is unique? What part of you is different? How can I look at you and somebody else and go, oh, they're nothing alike? Like my topic, my concept is identity. It's about an identity shift, making shift happen. It's all about that. It's literally the speeches are tied to everything with the word shift. I'm different. I'm not like anybody else. Therefore, no one can compete with me. Find out what makes you special and then delineate just on that and make sure no one else can get in your same pocket of area. And therefore, you get untouchable. Nobody can compete with you. Differentiate yourself. It's a big, big piece. 3, I'm going to tell you this, and I need you to grab this. Tell our story. Early on in my career, I had a lady tell me, hey, stop telling your story the way you're telling it. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you're just telling your story. They can watch a movie or a YouTube video or read a book on that. Tell them your story, but bring them into it. It should be our story when you're telling their story. So what you do is you say, hey, as opposed to going like, I spent time in foster care and I play in the NFL, you say, imagine if you spent time in foster care. Imagine playing in the NFL. Now you're in this imaginary space with me. Now it's real for me and you get that, but I brought you in. You're telling our story, which means I can resonate with you. I can connect to you. So you don't just tell your story like you're telling me, just rattling it off. Bring me into it. If I'm not into the story with you, why am I paying attention in the first place? You got to grab this. And this is also all part of that. Be really stinking good. Because when you do it right, no one even notices. They just feel enamored by it, right? Once you have this in place, you know these areas, you know what your different special sauce is, you're incredibly good telling stories, you got to have constant content. Constantly. Put it out there. Give your speech. Tell your story. Put it in YouTube videos. Put it in story posts. Put it in your Instagram feed. Do TikToks with it. Get it out into the world. People need to go, man, that's a great story. Podcast like crazy. If you're like, Anthony, how do I get on podcasts? And you want to know a surefire way to get on podcast? Start your own. Start your own podcast. Then you get to get on your own podcast and tell your story all dang day. Get to the point of realizing you got to have constant content into the world. And yes, your story can be out there, but it's nothing like having someone with you delivering it direct to you. There's always going to be a need for that. But if I don't know your story, how am I going to book you? Why am I going to hire you, right? You got to have it out there constantly being told over and over again. And then the last piece, and I'm going to tell you this, and I'm just honestly hope it doesn't hurt your soul, but I'm going to tell you the truth. You got to market to get momentum. There's no stopping it. I had somebody say, like, how do I get speeches without constantly reaching out to people cold? Look, I get paid a high fee for speeches, and we still reach out cold. You gotta market nonstop until you get so much momentum because you're so good, they can't ignore you, that it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. So sit down, buckle up for the ride, put that backpack on, start marching, because you got to market nonstop until you build enough momentum to where no one is not knowing your name and everybody wants you on their stage. And now it's not a matter of, do I have stages? It's, am I going to do it for that rate? Am I going to drop my rate for that? And that happens with momentum, with time and consistency. So that, my friend, is the way you do it. That's That's how you get booked as a speaker. So go out there, get to work, and make shift happen.